there, Laurel here. Welcome to another video. Today I have a card to share with you using some new goodies from the latest Stamp of Approval collection. It's fantastic. If you're not on the wait list, make sure you click on the link below in the YouTube description and sign up because you will be emailed the second the collection is on sale. There's only a certain amount, so once it's sold out, it is out of here. All right, so make sure you check out the description for that link, and also all the supplies that I used will be linked below in the YouTube description. Now, this is a card that I made for the blog hop, and I thought I would go ahead and create a video and make a card very similar to this. I'm just changing up the color scheme a little bit. And this uses a couple of different products from the new collection. So this is a standard top folding card here. It's red cardstock from Gina K. And I want to create those little scored lines that you saw over there on the blue card base. All right, so what you want to do, I'm right-handed, so I just had to flip this upside down. I'm using a Score Pal. You can also use the line of your paper trimmer, another scoring tool that you might have. And I'm just scoring some lines. Now, because I'm using a card base, it doesn't matter, but if you were using a pattern paper, you want to work off the back side because you're pressing the scored lines into the paper, and you want to make sure that the lines are popped up on the front of your panel. Now, this is the Lovely Flowers stamp set and die set, and I'm going to be using that big die and that little scallop die in my card today. And it's a great die set, and the whole thing is just fantastic. So I went ahead and die cut that off camera. And then I'm also going to be using the Fill in the Blanks stamp set here. And this is another Catherine Pooler design stamp set and die set. And this is just great. I love that big bold sentiment, but then you can fill in the blanks. And she's got pretty much everything covered here. You've got teacher, friend, niece, nephew, husband, mother, daughter, son, aunt. And then she even has mom, which I think is super cute. So yeah, I really like it. So I'm going to pull out my mini Misty. It's going to help me get some perfect placement here. And I'm going to take that stamp, and I'm just going to line up that little squiggle down at the bottom of the stamped image. I'm going to line it up with the half circle at the bottom of the die cut. And then I'm going to create an ombre look. You can do this with multiple ink pads, or I'm using the Brutus Monroe Gradient ink pad. And I'm going to create that ombre look myself, or you can use a solid color, or you could heat emboss this, really whatever you want to do, whatever works for you. I'm going to ink this up a couple times, so this is, hello, using the mini Misty. So I'm going to stamp this actually 3 times because I really want that dark and vibrant, and I really want the gradation of the colors to show. So I'm going to stamp that up 3 times, and because I'm using the Misty, perfect placement every time. So I did clean off my stamp, and since everything is in its place, I'm going to ink up that stamp again with some Versamark ink. I want to trap that color under some shine. So the best way to do that is to go ahead and heat set that with some Versamark ink and some clear embossing powder. And that's going to just heat set that sucker in. That color's never going to fade, not that it would anyway, but it also will give you some great shine, which I think is fun. And I did that on the other card as well, the blue card that I made earlier in the week. So I'm just going to go ahead and heat set that, and bam. And all that's left to do is fill in the blank. Whatever you want to, whatever you want to say, whoever you want this to be for. I'm going to make it for a friend. I send a lot of friend cards out. So I'm going to go ahead again and use my Misty. I'm going to heat emboss that little sentiment as well. So I'm going to grab my Versamark ink pad again and ink up that little friend set. And then this time I'm going to heat emboss it with some silver embossing powder from Brutus Monroe again. So I use the Brutus Monroe ink pad and this embossing powder. If you get any stray embossing powder where you don't want it, just take a dry brush and brush it away. Just poof, be gone. We don't want any stray embossing powders. You know what I'm saying? And look at all that shine. Here's a close-up so you can see the shine from all the heat embossed, how we trap that color underneath. Now I need to create that little scalloped border at the top, so I'm taking my Versamark ink pad and smushing it down onto that scalloped border. I'm going to use that same silver embossing powder that I used for the friend, and I'm just going to dump that right onto my little scratch paper. I literally grabbed this out of the garbage can. Hey, check out your garbage can. You might find some stuff that you can use for your projects. And I'll go ahead and heat emboss that and call that a day. So we're just about done here. This card is actually very easy to make, and you can totally mass produce this if you wanted to. I'm going to get some tape here and just adhere that little squiggly scallop border down up there at the top. And I'll cut off any excess that's hanging off with these ginormous scissors. I mean, these scissors are this is like a weapon. And then I'll go ahead and pop that up with some foam dimension, and wada bang, we're done here. This is some double-sided tape by Scotch. I buy that massive roll because I go through this a lot. Or you could adhere it flat. Really, whatever floats your boat. You know what I'm saying? And here's the 2 cards here. So stamp of approval. I hope you'll check it out. Remember, the links are below in the YouTube description. Also head on over to my blog, because I will have more still photos over there, more information over at laurelbeard.org. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.